My name is Wesley Misati. My colleagues and I prepared a policy position paper for reducing Kenya's future debt. We decided to choose a topic on Kenya's future debt because debt has become a problem in Kenya. This is because we have unsustainable borrowing, and the government is borrowing externally and internally to a point that right now the Kenyan debt to GDP is 67%, such that the debt is 67% of the GDP, yet the required threshold is 35%. This is more than what we should be borrowing. This influenced us to pick this paper so that we can provide solutions necessary for the country so that we can ensure debt sustainability.
Yes, hello, my name is Shadow Kino, and I'm going to speak on the proposed solutions that we had for Kenya reducing its debt. And one of the proposed solutions was on reducing government spending. So, spending on some of the populist infrastructure, such as Talanta Stadium. So, we decided that it is necessary for the government to reduce spending on such infrastructure, which is leading us to have to be in a debt trap. Secondly, was on privatization of some of the companies that we have here in Kenya, such as the Kenya Pipeline Company. So we are planning on having them to be privatized. That's a solution that we're offering to the government, so that it can be owned by the Kenyans themselves, that the shares be listed to the public, and each Kenyan has a certain share of that company. And some of the companies, if they be bought by the private entities, they bring like more funds onto us as a country. So that is some of the solutions. My colleague also will add on some of the other solutions that we also discussed in the paper.
My name is Shadi Rawadi. One of the issues we noted that kind of bloats the Kenya's public debt is one on expenditure. Our expenditure is extremely high, and there are two major ways that we propose to kind of cut down this expenditure. One is to avoid unnecessary spending, wasteful spending on the government side, and wasteful spending in this sense is the money spent on luxury conferences and other luxury items, unnecessary spending, unnecessary traveling, and any other unnecessary innovations that are constantly done on government buildings. And two is to stop doing projections when we are budgeting and instead use the previous year's collection as a baseline to create our budget so that we are not necessarily budgeting on hope, and we are able to reduce the debt that would be required to meet this deficit. Our call to action is to warn the National Treasury for them to make realistic budgets that cut on expenditure and that reduce unnecessary spending. And two is to the Parliament for them to do proper vetting of projects so as to avoid politically motivated populist infrastructure projects that are not economically viable and instead offer burdens to the citizens. We welcome any recommendations from the general public on this particular topic, and after reviewing all these recommendations, we will do the necessary on the policy paper and submit it to all necessary bodies through the Institute of Economic Affairs.
Thank you.
To, to add on to it, debt is really a problem because considering right now, over 59% of the revenue collected goes to financing debt. Yet there are other key sectors in the economy, such as healthcare and education, that still struggle because we're spending too much on debt, which is why we have decided to bring this forward. And we welcome your recommendation, as my colleague has said, so that we can make it better and present it to the Treasury Committee. Thank you very much.